Hey everybody, it's September 7th, 2025. And if you've been following my YouTube channel for a few years, or if you're a fan of Warren Williams Zevon, you know that today marks 22 years since he left this mortal coil. And from its sort of humorous, humble beginnings back in 2020, I'm now on Zevon-A-Thon number 6. Who'd have thunk that this was still going to be a thing all these years later? It really did sort of start out. I remember that year, September 7th was Labor Day, and so I had all the day off anyway. And I thought, all right, we'll just sort of do this. And it wasn't that serious, but it was fun. And then the next year, and the next year, and it's sort of grown in stature for me as a fan, as a listener. I'm not going to pontificate again on how much his music meant to me, other than obviously a lot, so much that I dedicate a whole day every year to spinning his music and to sharing it with my friends and my followers on social media and on YouTube. Um, so far, I'm making this video mid-afternoon. I got up early. I had to take a little break because I helped grill out for my church's annual picnic for a couple hours. So I'm a little bit behind where I planned on being, but that's all right. I got time to make things up. So far today, there's a set list from another Friday Night Live that I did. So far, I opened with "Trouble Waiting to Happen," just the song, and then Warren's really sort of oddball, off the wall cover of Casey Jones, the Grateful Dead song. Played side one of his actual debut, "Wanted Dead or Alive," and then all the rest here are in their entirety. I played the self-titled album, my OG pressing. I played my Mo-Fi version of "Excitable Boy," which, if you've never heard, it's unbelievably good. Um, and then while I was driving to and from the church picnic, I listened to Live at the Roxy 1978, a radio broadcast that I'd never even heard of. I was looking for something else, and that popped up, and I thought, okay, so I played that on YouTube Music while driving. Then Bad Luck Streak and Dancing School on CD, and Stand in the Fire partial. So almost, I guess I got ahead of myself there, saying I've listened to everything in its entirety since the debut, only because I'd heard a bunch of those songs already, several times on going through listening. And I did those CDs when I got back because I meal prep on Sundays. And I was thinking about this. I think I've shared too much of my personal life on these YouTube videos over the years. I've gone back and I've rewatched some of them and realized I talked about stuff I don't want to talk about anymore. So I'm going to try and keep the personal stuff to a minimum, but I don't mind talking about cooking. Um, and then so I'm halfway through the Envoy, and I thought, well, now's the time to make a quick YouTube video and share how much the curse of the collector is real, how real that curse is. And you guys all know that about me, that every year I try and find at least one or two new additions to my Zevon collection. And this year, I've really gone gung ho, and I'm not quite done yet. But this is as of today, September 7th. So um, I have a couple things set in different categories here. So as far as studio albums go, I picked up the CD versions of The Envoy and Sentimental Hygiene, which I've had on vinyl for years. I didn't know when I bought The Envoy that it was the remastered CD with the one, two, three, four bonus tracks on it, which are awesome. And then Sentimental Hygiene, like I said, I've had on vinyl for years and years, and so this is what I started the day with was just this, being able to play it on the CD. And so this album, The Envoy, has really grown on me over the years. I know when I did my album ranking years ago, it wasn't too high, but like all of Warren's work, it's all grown on me. The stuff that I wasn't big on before, I am now. So like, I don't know. I may go back and do a re-ranking of the albums, but it's going to be really difficult. So this was cool to get. Um, a couple of several collections actually. This one These 2 I passed over years ago when they came out. This is the newer collection. It's "Reconsider Me: The Love Songs," his more sentimental and soft side, and I have played this CD at least a dozen times since I've received it, and man, Warren had a tender side to him, for sure. And when I say I'm not done collecting, and this might wait till next year, I don't know. Um, this is the North American version. There's a European version with a different track listing, but it's been a little out of my budget for now to try and get a copy. But of course, I'm ridiculous, and so I'm going to track that down just to say I've got it. But this is a beautiful collection of Warren's work. And then the two CD set, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, an anthology. Again, I remember seeing this in Best Buy years ago and thinking, I've already got a best of Zevon, I don't need it. And of course I did, and there are a couple of songs on here that I didn't have. One in particular, um, I think it was from a movie soundtrack called "You Don't Know What Love Is," and I'd never even heard that before. And so this takes you through the Mutineer record in '95. Um, and of course, it's very heavy on the '70s and early '80s work, but it's cool. It's two CDs out on Rhino Records. There's a really excellent booklet that comes with it, with a lot of trivia and some stuff I didn't know even after reading his authorized biography. So this was really cool. As far as collections go, I think the first Zevon I ever got was Quiet Normal Life, and I got rid of this 2 years ago, thinking, oh, I bought the Genius collection, so I felt I didn't need this, and I'm like, heck with it, why not get it? So I got the CD back, and it's 14 songs. It takes you through the Envoy, from the self-titled through the Envoy. There's nothing new on here. There's nothing new at the time. It's not anything, it's not necessary per se if you've got all the other albums as I do, but it's cool to have. And in my collecting, then I thought, hold on, why don't why don't I go ahead and order a vinyl copy too of Discogs. It really is getting ridiculous. And no, I'm not even done yet here. A couple little odds and sods before I get to the main stuff. Casey Jones was found on Dedicated, a Grateful Dead tribute. So it's Warren and David Lindley together, and it's this upbeat, almost poppy version of it. It's nothing like the Dead's. And the irony is, back in the early '80s when Warren was still well into his habits, he opened for the Dead a couple of times, and he was pretty much asked never to come back because he got up and insulted the audience, and he was terrible, and it was fantastic, and he was in full rock star mode. And so I tracked this. Oh, you saw Koopa. He was in here. He just walked out. He started listening to me drone on. So that's kind of cool to have. So it's Zevon related. He's on there, and then I just happened to see this, I think on eBay or something. Warren Zevon accidentally on purpose, the classic 1978 live concert broadcast from the record plant in Sausalito. This is actually what I was looking for on YouTube to play. The other one popped up, so I decided to give it a shot, and it was killer. Um, Johnny Strikes Up the Band, Tenderness on the Block, Muhammad's Radio, Excitable Boy, Werewolves, Accidentally Like a Martyr, Rollin' Poor, Poor, Pitiful Me, Lawyers, Guns, and Money, and I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, plus band introductions and intro. This is a really cool live album. This is a great performance. Um, so then, kind of I'd say the coup de grace, but all of this is great. Um, I made a video, I think, about this a while ago, and an album that used to be dead last in my ranking is now easily in my top five. And so I picked up Life Will Kill You. It's an indie smoky gray skull version. Um, I listen to this all the time now, actually, and I think this is such a mature, grown-up album, and all of Zevon's stuff was. It wasn't for the faint of heart, any of it, but this, keeping the personal stuff out or details, this is an album that I understand a lot more after life kicks you. and I've been kicked a lot, and some of it's been my own fault, and some of it's, just like Delbert McClinton saying, a victim of life circumstance. Um, this this is brilliant. So I'm so happy I found a vinyl copy of that. Found it online at a record store in Chicago and had it shipped up to me. Then the big ones. Well, a minor one. On Record Store Day this year, I saw that they were going to put out, at long last, reissue on vinyl, the Hindu Love Gods record that he did with the band REM minus Michael Stipe. I think I've talked about this before. It's mostly covers, mostly old blues covers. There's an oddball cover of Raspberry Beret by Prince. And so this was really cool. I thought, well, I have an OG pressing and I have the CD, but the curse of the collector is real, so why not? Um, so this was pretty cool to have. Again, this is not essential, but I tell you what, it's worth seeking out. And so before I finish here, I'm getting a little parched. And so I got a bad case of anxiety when I saw the Record Store Day list come out the day it came out, because I know how hard box sets are to get. I know they go quick in collector circles. And I literally started feeling anxiety about getting this 2 months before Record Store Day. And my local record store got one copy in. One of my local record stores. One didn't get any. And I'm so grateful that I was able to pick up the Piano Fighter box set. And sorry, there's another record that's not Zevon under there. This is his Giant Records years, re-released by Reprise Records and Rhino. Warren had kind of burned some bridges with major labels, so he ended up on Giant Records, and he put out, let's see, Mr. Bad Example, the live Learning to Flinch, which is all just him, either on piano or guitar, because by the time it was recorded in '94, he was playing, dinner theaters and clubs and stuff, and festivals, and it was just not financially feasible to go around with a band anymore. Because unfortunately, he wasn't as in demand as he deserved to be. So anyway, that's out. And then Mutineer. And the reason I got such anxiety over this is because uh, Mutineer and Learning to Flinch have never been released on vinyl, and Mr. Bad Example was, I think, released. I don't even know if it was released on vinyl in America. And Warren was unceremoniously dumped by Giant Records in the middle of touring to promote Mutineer. How, I don't cuss a lot on this channel, but how shitty of his record label to believe so little in him and promote him so little. It's Mutineer did not get reviewed terribly favorably when it came out, and that's a shame because and it's an odd record. It's got different sound effects on it. The songs are a little strange, some of them. Um, Seminole Bingo was not even it's like the minorest of minor hits. But anyway, the remastering on these is gorgeous. The sound quality is phenomenal. And because of that, and now all these other collections, I have every official Warren live album, hits album, studio record, and then the album of outtakes that New West Records put out. I have it all on vinyl and CD. So I can listen to it in either format. And of course, in some cases, multiple pressings and whatever. But that, for people who only know his earlier work, and by early, I'm not talking the Lyman Sybil stuff from the '60s or Wanted Dead or Alive, which almost nobody but me and two or three of you out there know. I'm talking the self-titled and Excitable Boy, and maybe Bad Luck Streak and Dancing School in the live record. Um, Warren was not necessarily prolific as far as the amount of albums he put out in his lifetime, He oftentimes went years without them. Uh, but the songs are prolific. The songs he never to me, he never put out a stinker of an album. Even the Wanted Dead or Alive, the official debut, I kind of like it. And because it has the seeds were planted for what was to come, for sure. And it took 6, 7 years for him to really get discovered. You know, Jackson Brown helping him get a good record deal and whatnot. But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at for my Zevon-A-Thon. I've prattled on a long time. Again, this is really to sort of share where I'm at as far as collecting. 22 years without Warren is just unfathomable to me because, as with so many artists who are physically no longer with us, their body of work stand the test of time, and their bodies of work stand the test of time, to be grammatically correct. Warren's work, I'm coming to think that pressed, hard pressed, if I could only listen to one artist's catalog for the rest of my life, it might be Warren's. It's grown on me. I've always been a fan, for so many years I've been a fan, but it's grown on me even more. And the ones that I didn't quite get before, I get now on a very deep level. And I don't know what that says about my mental state. But those of you who are Warren fans, you can understand, right? Um, so anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day. Life has just been crazy. Again, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it anymore, but it's kept me from getting to this kind of thing. But things are settling down a little bit. I'm getting back more into routines, and as always, I hope to do a few more of these, or hope to do them more frequently. Um, so celebrate Warren, not just today, and then his birthday in January. I do a mini Zevon-A-Thon, but celebrate his music with some frequency, with some uh, normal cadence in your spinning, whether it's vinyl, CD, streaming, whatever it is. Let's help spread the gospel of Zevon to more people. So take care, everybody. And I look forward to touching base with you. Let me know what you think of any of these if you've got them. Yeah, let's talk Warren. Let's talk Warren in the comments. Be respectful, please. I've had a couple of trolls or a couple of a-holes leave comments like, come on, guys. I'm not even a tiny minnow in an ocean on YouTube as far as music stuff. I'm not in this to try and convert anybody. Well, maybe a little, but I'm not in this to fight or argue. It's not worth my time. I've got a few hundred followers. Come on. So please be respectful. Take care of yourselves. Listen to Warren. Cheers, everyone.